I applaud the executives at Fox for gambling on a show like Arrested Development and supporting it the way they have.
Well, I watch a great deal of TV, and I welcome stuff that looks different because I'm tired of the old.
It's a wonderful series written by Mitch Hurwitz and produced by Mitch and Ron Howard and Brian Glazer. It's Imagine, and they're really good talent people.
My name is Mitch Hurwitz. I wrote the pilot. I'm therefore called the creator and executive producer and the showrunner, which means I sort of manage the whole enterprise. Arrested Development was a show that was about a family that was obsessed with itself.
Tell me the truth, okay? Because there's been a lot of lying in this family. And a lot of love. More lies.
You know, I keep hesitating to really ask Mitch, you know, how deep a connection he has with the root of this show. Because if that's his family, oh man. So I'm afraid to ask Mitch. But, I fear the worst. Whatever, it's yielded some hilarious characters.
Doesn't resemble my family in any way. We haven't been caught for any of the financial improprieties we've been engaged in.
Yeah, it's okay. We've got your polygraph set up for tomorrow.
About that.
I'll tell them, Michael.
I won't do it. I'm afraid of what I might know.
Arrested Development is almost more like a hidden camera show. It's as though, they put up these cameras in these various settings, and you were able to look in on this insane family as they operate.
Why would a doctor say he's gone when he means he's escaped?
God, I've missed Brent.
It's Royal Tannenbaum shot like cops.
Well, I kept watching television, and it just occurred to me that you could use that new style, that grammar, to create a different kind of situation comedy that would be packed with more jokes, more funny situations, and a less traditional feel than what you get with a normal kind of half-hour sitcom.
The guys that directed the pilot and a lot of the subsequent episodes, Joe and Anthony Russo, they're brothers. They're not lovers. Just they were, they really helped create this tone and this, this very ambitious style. They attacked this thing with this great kind of independent filmmaker guerrilla mentality.
Well, the show's shot HD with two cameras. We have an A and a B camera.
No, that was a seizure.
Shot very freeform. It's a very pseudo sort of documentary style. It breaks the rules. It loosens it up because the actors have a very free. They're free to roam where they want. We can't really pin them down by saying be here or be there.
We can just keep moving and keep it sort of real like it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a documentary, and that really lends itself to that tone.
And the idea was that this documentary style could inform the storytelling, that instead of everything being consecutive, tell our story in a non-linear way.
If you're saying I play favorites, you're wrong. I love all my children equally. I don't care for Joe.
It became stylistically this great way to move a story along.
It also allows for a narrator. I'm actually do the narration. And the narrator gets to be kind of the straight man for the show. In fact, Tobias had intended to park the family's only vehicle at the airport parking lot.
To this day, when we do a rough cut and people see it, and that's without Ron's voice on it, people usually say, boy, it's a little hard to follow. It's kind of confusing. And then Ron gets in there and just slowly describes it all, and it tells the story.
The saga. Saga just goes on and on. Arrested Development has probably the most extraordinary ensemble that any new show could possibly put together.
We just had to hope, people with a real comic spark walk through the door, and that we could put together a lot of original comic voices. And I feel like we're so fortunate with this cast. I mean, I can't imagine doing it without this cast.
They really seemed to want to do something with the show that was different than what's on television, and because of that, I thought maybe I might not really get a chance to go in on it because the stuff that I've done is pretty traditional, soft fare on television. The multi-camera family or hijinksy crap. I went in there and just basically guessed right as far as how they wanted the character played.
But starting tomorrow, there is going to be a new boss in town, and you're all going to have to start fending for yourselves. You're all going to finally feel that sweet sting of sweat in your eyes as Buster. You can't do that on the balcony, buddy.
If you look a little closer, he's kind of the craziest one. He's got to play a character that's relatable and that gives the audience a point of entry. But to be funny, you know, he's got to have a lot of blind spots.
I parked in the same spot for the last 5 years. I was there on time every single day. I was so loyal. I worked so hard.
I joined it as a guest star. I wasn't supposed to be a regular on it.
And it was really as unprofessional as me saying, hey, do you want to be on a TV show tomorrow? And he said, you know, I think I've got to get out of the Hollywood squares, but yeah, I'll show up.
And it just, you know, through good fortune, they've asked me to continue.
I really wanted David Cross to be in the show. I kind of threw it out to him and said, what do you think you'd be funny doing? What would you like to play?
What do you want? What am I?
He came back and said he thinks he'd like to play Tobias.
There's a man inside me, and only when he's finally out can I really walk free of pain. This book is going to sell 1 billion copies. It's a real character. It's fun for me to play. It's nothing like, I'm not remotely like the character at all, which is interesting and fun. And I love putting glue on my face and then attaching a fake mustache to that glue. So when you combine those two things, a good script and my love for glued-on mustaches, man, you know, this is kind of a dream job. It's insane!
He's hysterical, like every take he'll like add something new at the end, and like you'll read a line and all it says is like hello, but then he'll make it like hysterically funny.
How's your job search coming?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm hoping the universe provides a path for me.
Like David Cross is a fantastic improver, and they just let him go, which is amazing. And then like everybody has their different styles. Like I like to be told what to say, and then interpret it the way I want to. At least I can get a girlfriend.
I can get a girlfriend before you.
Oh, we'll see about that.
Hey, why aren't you in there?
Oh, I was just keeping on Young Company. Give me that bagel.
It was all scripted, and that's the beauty of this writing. Also, we have the writers on the floor as we go, and they tweak a little bit and this and that.
See, I see it differently. I think you do know that she knows something. One of the strengths of the show is that it incorporates a lot of different comedy styles, and you know, oftentimes we all just sit in a room and would just, you know, write the script out loud from start to finish, sitting in the room, and everybody throwing in things. So I think it gets it. It ends up being, again, that all contributes to its density. That, you know, we have layers on layers of things because we have a lot of minds attacking it.
I'm the firstborn. Sick of playing second fiddle. Always finishing third.
Job is leads the lifestyle of a playboy, even though he's really not a playboy.
Wow, this is a side of you I'd never noticed before. Have they always been that big?
You know, we wanted somebody that was kind of slick, but in a way didn't realize they were being slick. In fact, when Will auditioned, that was the first thing I said to him was like, you know, this guy thinks he's charming. And so he played it kind of sleazy charming. And then finally I said, no, this guy's charming. Don't try to play charming, just be charming. And once Will did that, we thought, oh, this is great. This is perfect.
You know, you don't need to do that, buddy. It's okay.
I was mainly doing commercials before I got this job, and I just auditioned in New York.
So we get this videotape from New York. Our casting director in New York sends out this videotape with Tony Hale on it. It was just the craziest thing. He was giving an off-camera massage a real long time. We're sitting there looking at the videotape thinking, what is he doing? What is he needing? Anyway, finally he said, hey, brother. And we thought, well, that's it. That's it.
We just had an amazing fundraiser for Hoop.
Hoop?
My anti-circumcision movement.
She's a funny socialite who really doesn't have much of a clue, but she has a pretty good heart.
You know, we wanted to have that character that was the liberal member of the family, but whose selflessness, in fact, never cost her anything. In fact, it gained her things because, it made her a more desirable member of this upper crust elite society.
It's a Doberman. Let it have its ears.
And when Portia came in and read this thing and was, of course, hilarious and mannered and kind of like this little shadow of Jessica Walter's character.
Michael, look what happened to my fox. Someone cut off his little foot. Is it noticeable?
She's totally narcissistic and self-involved. No one else exists except Lucille.
Hey, George, your guy's on. This time it's a triple guarantee. We're out of the woods.
With a show like this, there's such a clear idea for these characters. And both Michael, Sarah, and Alia were just like right out of the bat, we knew this is perfect. We wanted one child to be kind of fearless and one to be fearful. One to be too enmeshed with his father and one to have no relationship with the parents. So we were playing with a lot of opposites to hopefully down the road give us some sparks between the two of them. And they had it.
I should go to my mom tonight and be like, I met the cutest guy. And then she'll see you and me totally making out.
But not really, right?
It's perfect.
That was my first on-screen kiss, and off is my first ever. But like Michael and I have become good friends over the time, so I mean it's not that weird. We didn't really really kiss, It was just for comedy, so it turned out really funny.
It's like he's confused about it, it's awkward, he doesn't know what to say around her. He doesn't want his dad or anyone to find out that he's got a crush, he thinks there's something seriously wrong with him. So it's a lot of fun to play.
In a way, he's the best improver on the show. Because he doesn't try to be funny. He just stays completely in character. And as long as the scene goes, if the director doesn't happen to yell cut, he just finds these little things.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
But isn't that what makes it funny? I'm laughing. Let's go fish.
Mitch Hurwitz is writing just great characters, and they don't stop with the series regulars. He's writing great guest roles as well. And he always had this one character in mind, this really dynamic woman who just stirs up so much trouble in the Bluth family. His dream casting was Liza Minnelli.
Then we had to find her. And Ron Howard had known her when he was a kid. Her father, Vincent Minnelli, had directed Ron Howard in Courtship of Eddie's Father. So he knew her, and I think she babysat for him when they were kids. So he called her, and she was willing to meet with me. I told her about the part, and she was just game from day one.
Henry Winkler.
Now we know
He looks
each other
the same, doesn't
a long,
he?
long time.
We know each other 30 years.
This is my pen.
Henry Winkler called me. We continued to be really close friends, but I didn't know where he'd been for a few days, and it turned out he'd been on the set of Arrested Development.
I think I'm going to take a scenic drive down to the City of Industry.
Because I come from multiple camera, I was really not familiar with how much work goes into editing on a show like this and how much storytelling you can really do in the editing room.
We've got 8 different ways that we could play a moment in a scene, and all of them are funny for a different reason, and we just...
Yeah, it's torture sometimes. It's just torture. I literally will cut it 4 different ways and sit there staring and sometimes dragging one of the assistants or somebody. Can somebody just look at it? Is this better or this one? It's just torture because there's so much good stuff.
Tons of stuff is cut. Whole storylines are cut to make it a 20-minute show, 20 minutes being now the amount of content in a half-hour programming, because that way you get more ad revenue. You should try to cut another minute out. That's more revenue, That's another GMC truck ad. Forget 19 minutes. Let's go 18 minutes. That way you get a mac and cheese commercial. You get a commercial for a satellite dish. And what else? Let's throw in peanut butter. Why do we need television shows at all? This is stupid. What if it's a half hour of promos with promos for commercials that are coming up in the next promotional commercial block? Commercial promos. I'm clearly looking at this the wrong way.
And then the final step is David Schwartz, our composer. It's a very difficult thing to write music that's funny but isn't silly, that creates a tone, but that doesn't distract you from the show. So that's always our safety net. After we write it and it doesn't work that well, and then we shoot it and it's not perfect, and we edit it and it's just not quite working, sometimes that last pass by David Schwartz, the music just will sell the joke and save us.
This is a common scoring misconception, I think, and people often use it only for that. You know, oh, like we've got a bad scene here. Let's have some music. You know, but this is not the case in this show. This show is always inspiring, and I always feel inspired by it. So if I can help make a good scene better, that's always great.
That's a wrap on season 1 of Arrested Development.
It's just been such an amazing creative experience, and the people I've worked with, you know, I've always heard people say this on shows about how great the crew was and how great the cast was, but it's everything. I mean, these are the people you work with, and we just had the best group and the most fun doing this.
You know, I don't want to, you know, nauseate you with analogies, but a rainbow like only has, you know, has certain colors, and without one, and then like it's not really a rainbow. So everyone's got to do their part and play their color.
Somewhere over the rainbow, there's another rainbow.
It's been absolutely exhilarating that a show that takes the risks that Arrested Development takes has been you know, appreciated by television critics the way it has.
We're just so fortunate that we found an audience at all. I feel like, you know, a real kinship to the people that like this show. And there's something fun about being kind of discovered by people. So I'm so optimistic about season 2. I have no idea what's going to happen yet.